So all I'm really gonna do is just explain how we started everything, and I think it's gonna be more interactive. Where if you guys have questions, I'll answer it to the best of my capability. Like most of this stuff we started with, we started this year. So yeah, let's just pray because I'm tired. I was running around, and then we can begin. After I'm finished praying a little, then you can hit record, or if it's already recording, that's fine too. All right, so let's pray. Heavenly Father, we just want to thank you for just bringing us all here. Father, we ask you to just let what we learned today, oh God, just increase our knowledge to just better your kingdom, oh God. Let live stream not only be a thing just to show, oh, we have awesome camera angles. No, it's just a thing to spread your word across the nations, oh God. And Father, we just want to thank you for everything you've done in our life. And we ask you to just keep moving. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. Amen. All right, so 2020, I didn't expect what was happening, and obviously we all were probably shocked when COVID happened. And for me, I was on the worship team at that time, but we were thinking about the church shutting down and all of that stuff just because of the virus and nobody could leave. So I was like, all right, I have more free time now. I don't need to be on the worship team as much. And all the stuff that I learned it within this year. So it was crazy, like grinding all that stuff in my brain. So what we really did was we started with one camera. That camera would just keep going on OBS. Everything was on our computer downstairs. And what we noticed was like, all right, one camera was good, but we needed to add more. So what we did, we keep adding more cameras. We had 2 cameras, and then we start switching. Camera 1, camera 2, camera 1, camera 2, just to make it more active and fun. After that, we got another camera. We got updated switcher. And now we have 4 cameras. If you guys look on the TV behind you, you can see that's everything that the switcher shows. So like you have Pro Presenter on the top left. Then we have camera 1, we have our camera 2, which is always our main shot. We have camera 3, which is the far right one down in the sanctuary, and camera 4 is the one that's right here looking at me. I think the HDMI is probably plugged out, that's why you don't see me. But that's how our switcher is really set up. I can start with like OBS. When we used to use that, the reason why we moved from OBS to an actual encoder, which is now Resi, they used to be called Living as One, was OBS was giving us a lot of issues where the stream would always stutter or there's buffering and all those things. Yeah?
You speak English?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
yeah,
OBS,
you're talking technical terms.
I'm sorry. So OBS is a software. What it is, it's basically like an encoder. So that's something else I have to explain.
It's also free.
Yeah, it's also free.
Okay.
So on computers, it's what it does, it grabs what your feed is from your camera, and then it just puts it on the internet. It helps to put it on the internet. So what we have now is a more physical encoder. It's a big box that's like inside our tech booth. And what that does now, it receives all the data and then it sends it to their online storage. After that, it takes it from there, send it to YouTube and Facebook. So OBS and everything needs like an encoder, some way to like grab the video and put it online. So that's the machine that like add what you're showing here and put it online on Facebook or YouTube. There's people who only use it for like Facebook. There's people who only use it on YouTube. We use it on both because we have people going on both websites. But yeah, OBS is just a device that helps to bring it from here and put it online. That's basically what it is.
What's the encoder?
The encoder that we use now.
What is it?
What's it called?
What's its purpose? What does it do?
So what it does, like I said, it just grabs the video data, and then what it does is process it and transform it into online. So it just grabs the data that we have from the cameras and just put it online.
Translate the data.
Yeah. If you want, you can just write down these words, and I'm telling you, this is what I do. Anytime I hear something I don't know, I just YouTube it or Google it. So if I say something, I will give you the more easier way to understand it so your brain can process it. But the best ways is, if I say a word that you don't know, write it down. When you go home, just research it. I'll give you the best of my knowledge, but that's really it. So where was I? So yeah, after, I think we're on OBS, yes? Yeah, so after we see that OBS wasn't working and our stream was dropping, we had to move to Living at One at the time, but no, it's called Resi. They have they're more like a bigger company when it comes to live stream. So what they do is they make your live stream a lot more stable in a sense where it grabs your video 2 minutes in advance. It's just encoding like a long time. So what it does, encoding is like it records the thing. And then what happens is it sends 2 minutes. So our live stream is 2 minutes behind. If you watch your live stream while we're live, you'll notice that, wait, he said that 2 minutes ago. So that's how their system works. How it works is it grabs the data, it makes sure everything is good. If there's any patch between your Wi-Fi signal, it goes back again, grabs more data and fill it completely, and then it just spreads the 2 minutes. So you notice, even if our live stream doesn't look the best, you notice that like it will always be stable. So live stream, I would say the three things that are very important is one, you can actually see what's happening. Two, you can hear what's happening. And the main important one is that it's stable and it's not buffering or bugging out. What we've learned is whenever our live stream would either stutter or the volume was too crazy high or people couldn't see, immediately, even though they're Christians and they love church and they love God, like they just shut off. People leave. They're like, oh, can't hear it. Oh, can't see it. Oh, it keeps buffering. My internet sucks. They leave. And that's not why we're doing the live stream. Our purpose for a live stream is so people who can't get here, they can receive God's word, right? So what was the issue is that we don't want that. So our main thing is, if our live stream doesn't have all those pretty effects or whatever, but people can see and they can hear clearly and it's a stable connection, that's the best live stream ever. Because you can have fancy stuff going and your live stream is buffering and people are leaving, you know what I mean? So I would say those are like the three key things that we try to keep with our live stream, is that it looks good, where we can see what's happening, and we can hear everything that's happening, and it's stable. Those are our three key things. Any questions so far? No? No?
I do.
Yes.
I do. I left up my hand first.
Yeah. You're fine.
Okay. Sure. So for us who are, okay, I'm doing my live stream with my cell phone.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you have an Apple device or Android?
I have a
Apple.
no. I have a BlackBerry.
A BlackBerry?
Yeah.
No, he didn't.
No.
Oh, I was like, I don't know if Blackberries do that.
I was gonna say, you've been on a BlackBerry, you're already ahead of us.
I'm like, so you're on
I have
Apple?
an Apple.
Okay.
I have an Apple. So okay. So what I want is I want to get a better picture.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to get, like you said, my main thing is to get the message across to
Mhm.
people who are not attending church yet.
Mm-hmm.
So what I want to do is bring a better quality to them. Is there anything that I can use, camera, small camera, maybe update to the new iPhone that is coming out?
Mhm.
Because supposedly you got better quality of recording, so I can make that better.
Yeah. Is your Wi-Fi connection good? Like, is your live stream stable? That would be my first question.
I think so.
So when people watch it, like, there's no buffering, nobody ever texts you and complain that it's buffering or anything like that?
There's been maybe a couple of times since back in March.
Yeah.
But what I want is I want to present a better quality of picture and sound.
Okay.
What can I add to that?
For that, I would say you'd probably need a switcher. There's some cheaper ones. That's how we receive our sound from our mixer and stuff. And then what's another thing you could do is, it's called Switcher Studio. You can look up that app. What it is, it's a bunch of Apple phones, and I was surprised that this is an app that people use. So there's a Spanish church that uses our building. They use it. It's called Switcher Studio. And what it does, it's a bunch of Apple devices. So it's a bunch of Apple phones, and you can use Apple tablets. And what it does, it's legit like a switcher here. All of them have like little mics connected to their phone recording, and what they do is they just switch on the tablet, and you'd think it was a live stream. You'd think they have all the equipment we do, but the app that they have, it makes like, so let's say all you guys have Apple phones, then you just connect it to one tablet, and then you'd have these 4 people as your camera person, and you'd probably have more cameras than what we have. You know what I mean? So I would look into that for what you're doing. It's cheaper. It's not like buying a $1,200 encoder and a bunch of cameras and all of that stuff. But like if you're using your phone, I think you should look into Switcher Studio.
Switcher Studio.
Yeah.
And do they have something like that for Android?
Pardon me?
Do they have something like that for Android?
No. I'm sorry. They don't like us. I'm an Android fan.
How would you suggest that he would take advantage of audio upgrading, like plugging maybe directly from the mixer to the phone?
With that, like I said, some of these stuff are stuff that I'm still learning, but I would say the best thing is just getting a mic and getting it as close as you can to the speaker. To get it from the mixer to your phone, I don't know how that would work because I've never done it that way. What we have is SDI cables and actual cameras. So phone-wise, I've never done it with a phone. But I would say, like I said, I think if you look into the Switcher Studio and then add a microphone, let's see. Give me one sec. We have a mic in here that I can show you.
One thing you'll get into as well if you run like from your soundboard in to a switcher is that you can have sync issues because
Yeah.
the video process will be at a different speed than the audio.
Yeah.
If you use a microphone, it'll always be synced.
Yeah,
So you
so
just have to be prepared to add a delay if you're running your audio.
see, this is for your Apple phone.
So you plug that into
Yeah,
the
just
top-
get a little mic like this, and like I said, just get it as close as possible, and you'll get a better quality sound out of your live stream. But the reason why I'm pointing you to that app is because I've watched it and like I've seen how they work, and I'm telling you, it was amazing. It's
So
just
how
a
you
bunch of
recommend
iPhones. Yeah, I really do. If we didn't have any of these devices, I know Pastor Daniel's big on the Crapple devices, so we'll just use Apple. We'll just use Apple devices to do that. That's where I would have gone if we didn't have this route. Yeah. Anything else?
What would be like the best upgrade if you're going from a phone to an actual camera? Like, what could you get a camera for that's pretty decent?
I would say that's more like a Pastor Daniel question, but what I love is Blackmagic.
Yeah.
So I think any Blackmagic cameras do the job great.
This one actually was Pastor Daniel's choice, and it's for the price. What was it, 1,600 or less?
Okay, so there's different versions of this camera. So if you guys want to know like equipment purchase, I know a lot of you guys are just starting off, we can walk you through all of that and actually figure out what your budget is and then make a shopping list. What you have to start really is your budget. You have to know what we have. So a lot of people, if you're starting off with,
We wanted to spend whatever we wanted and get what you have now, how much would that cost around?
what we have now, I would not recommend because
Nope.
what we have now, we've been building for years.
Yeah.
If you have like a huge budget, then great. We'll walk you through that and we'll do a shopping list.
We'll burn your
What I
money.
would recommend if you're starting from scratch is to get one of these cameras right here. It's a Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera. They have 2 versions of it. They have a 6K version and a 4K version. All of this, Andrew and I can help you with after. I'm gonna- A 4K version. The 4K version is cheaper. I believe it's $1,200 starting price. You can pick it up used or whatever for a lot cheaper. I would get one of these cameras, and then they have the Blackmagic ATM mini switcher. And the mini switcher, if you do those 2 things, you're probably gonna, it's your budget, if you get them brand new, is probably gonna be, it's gonna be exactly $2,200, exactly. And that gets you a high quality 4K camera with a switcher, and then you can add cameras to the switcher later. So you start off with one and a switcher, and then you get another camera when you can budget up for it, or you can start off with 2 or 3 cameras, however many you want to start off with.
So this camera is actually what you're using to record, right here?
Right now,
Yeah,
you
we
want
have-
to showing downstairs, same camera?
Yeah, so we have different cameras across the building. Some cameras are more expensive than others. Our most expensive camera was $6,000. We have one of those. The rest of them were sub $2,000, so less than $2,000. And the rest of them we picked up used. I have one camera that is extremely expensive because we use it for anything that we do. If we produce a video, That's our main go-to camera. It can do really great slow motion and a whole bunch of stuff that you guys don't need for live stream. But you guys can do really, really well with cameras that are around the $2,000 to $1,500 range. This camera, brand new, it's the 6K version. It's brand new, $1,800. If you get the 4K version, which is almost the exact same camera, just a little bit lower resolution, we don't even live stream in 4K or any K. We live stream in 1080.
Yeah, you
which
can't.
is standard high definition.
Yeah.
So you don't need that for live streaming. Get the cheaper model. And so that would be $1,200 brand new. And then the switcher is, I think, $885 or $995, if I'm not mistaken.
$895, I think.
$895?
Yeah.
Okay, and then you get those two things, you run a line out from your mixer into that switcher, and then you add cameras as you go. And then as you add cameras, you can have them in different positions, and then there's a button on this, a physical button on the switcher, and you switch between the different camera angles, and then that goes into your live stream setup. And in your live stream setup, you can use OBS or
Living
as one.
Yeah, they have a cheap encoder that's around, I say cheap, but it's $1,200. And the reason why I think that's something you should invest in a lot is because since we've moved from OBS to them, we've never had any stability issues. Like, it's 2 minutes delay, but it's perfect streaming. Anything else that we need to fix is on our side. So that young lady right there, she's our director. She's the one that's on the switcher, like saying camera 1, camera 2, and just flickering all the switches. So yeah, she's the one that does that. But I'm telling you, like, with her, all she has to focus on is just making sure that her cameras look good, and then she goes on the schedule, because it does have a schedule on Resi. And what you do is you schedule out. So let's say we have Sunday services at 7 a.m. Just picking a random time. Yeah, I get here at 7, so that's why I picked that number. 7 a.m. and then we have service on Wednesday at 7 p.m. and then we have a service on Friday at 7 p.m. The cool thing about it, you can put in those times on Resi, and then you never have to touch it again. You just put it on reoccurring, and then it just schedule it out for every month until the end of the year.
And
so
Resi is living as one, right?
yeah, but just call them Resi. That's what they just want to be called now. So that's their new name. They're Resi. So that, I'm telling you, I feel like if you want stable connection with your internet, and I feel like that's way more important than the other two aspects. Obviously, you need to see someone, you need to hear them, but I think people would more work with you if they can see and hear the person okay, but your connection is stable where you're not buffering. The moment you buffer, or the moment you stutter, people are like, all right, that's your first chance. Second chance. All right, what's on YouTube? Let's see what else is going on. You know what I mean? Like, that's how people work. I mean, whether they're Christian or not, that's just how people work. Their attention span is hard to keep. Yeah.
I'm gonna roll back Daniel real quick with the camera.
Guys, by the way, this is Paul Imager. He's from Gulfside Church in Cape Coral. Knows a lot about live stream himself too. So.
One of the things that might catch them off guard as they go looking for this is this does not come with a lens.
It does not. Right.
And so it's a real, like, even for me as a pretty deep tech person, it's a pretty intimidating thing to step into. What lenses would you recommend?
So that's a great question. So understand, when I'm telling you the camera, there's so many things that are involved. Like, I'm not telling you about batteries. I'm not telling you about cables. There's a bunch of like nickel and dime purchases and you know, Ben Franklin things thrown in. And so to just answer your question specifically, when it comes to lenses, this is the big difference between those two cameras. Like I said, this is the pocket cinema camera. This is the one I would recommend for people starting off, unless you have a huge budget or a larger budget and you want to, when we did it, I told our team I would rather go slow and add things that are going to last us for a long time. That was my strategy. Your strategy is different. You guys might just say, hey, I want to just jump in and have multiple cameras. In which case, you know, or you need as cheap as possible or whatever. I said, let's go every few months, we'll pony up and buy another camera or whatever. So we're still in that process. So when it comes to this camera, particularly, there's the two of them. There's the 6K and the 4K. The reason why we went with the 6K here is because it uses the same lenses as my cameras down there, which are all Canon lenses. So all in here, this is our media closet. In here I've got a bunch of lenses because I've been collecting them for years. I used to be a photographer and videographer, so I always shot on Canon cameras. So I have a bunch of my old lenses that are now the church's, and then we've added them as they've gone. Canon has the largest collection of lenses in the world. They're very easy to pick up secondhand. They're very accessible. So I said I wanted to go with this camera because it uses the same lenses. If you get the cheaper one, it uses a different type of lens, which is called a micro four thirds lens, MFC, micro four thirds lens, which are pretty cheap, and you would typically find them on cheaper cameras. I went with this because it was consistent across all of our cameras. That's one thing to keep in mind. When it comes to what lenses to get, for you guys to start off with, you've got a couple of options. If you know the dimensions of your building and your camera's gonna be fixed, there's two types of lenses. There's a zoom lens and a prime lens. This right here is a prime lens. This lens on this camera is a prime lens. Prime lens means it doesn't zoom. If I wanna get closer, I have to physically walk it up to the person or move it back, which is great for this camera because this camera doesn't budge. It stays there and it's set. When we first did the live stream at our church, we only used prime lenses. We have since added zoom lenses. So if you go downstairs and look at our cameras down there, you'll see these really, really long lenses. They look like a sniper rifle. Those are zoom lenses so that we can zoom in and get a lot closer. So what lenses I would recommend would depend a lot on what you're trying to do. Do you have a person manning the camera or is it unmanned? For our live stream, if you go back and watch our live stream from a year ago, we had one camera that was positioned in the back with a prime lens that didn't budge ever. And because live stream wasn't important to us before 2020. I was like, is it online? Cool, like we're good. And now in 2020, we're like, I need live stream to be great because we look at live stream as our digital campus. We have two churches, a physical church and a digital church. So we added zoom lenses. So that question, I would have to probably tailor it towards what you're trying to do. If you don't have a big team, I would say all you need is a prime lens. You just like drill your camera down, nail it down, put a prime lens on it, nobody touches it, you leave it alone, you don't have to worry about anything. If you have a team and you want them to be able to zoom in, zoom out, all that stuff, then you need to get a zoom lens. But for all of you guys to start off with, get a camera and a decent lens. What lens you get depends on the dimensions of your building, where your camera's gonna be positioned from, and all of those are things that you guys can ask those questions subsequently, and we can fill you guys in on all of those for your particular needs. So we can make sure we get you Andrew's contact, and any questions like that you would have, we can make sure to, basically what we wanna do is help you guys get started.
Mm-hmm.
So you tell us your budget while you're here, when you go back, whatever, and we will build you out a shopping list based on your budget. And then you can say, okay, this is how much I wanna allocate every 3 months, every 6 months, how do I add incrementally? Let's say it's $1,000 a year and that's what your budget is. Great, that gives us a place to start. Now we know, where to go from there. So, yeah.
I had a question, like us, we have, smaller buildings, smaller churches.
Yeah.
And starting from zero.
Zero budget.
Zero budget,
Yeah.
zero technology.
We're talking Washington's, not Benjamin.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so,
In some cases, Lincoln.
yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, I guess what my question's gonna be is what is a realistic budget to come in at, because we're small, we're new.
Yeah.
And I don't have, I'm listening to the pastor's panel talking about 12-month
Let me phone.
budget plan,
Right.
3-month budget plan. I'm still looking at getting past this week.
Sure.
So, what's realistic,
Right.
because a
I
lot of
just
this
need
is gonna
Google.
come on the personal side of my
My
finances.
phone's
Right.
downstairs.
So I can budget it. So what would be a realistic entry level?
I'm gonna come over here because I realize we're filming this and I'm standing off
Yeah.
camera and it's not picking up my audio. So, to the Q&A time, are we keeping track on time here, Andrew, as well? I wanna make sure we don't go over.
10 minutes.
Okay, so realistically, to start, you guys have to figure out where you're at. You're gonna be in a different place than you. Pastor Joe, I know you guys are more established. You guys probably have, when we talk about budget, that's not as much of a concern for you guys. So where to start realistically? The most important thing for me is that you put something out there and you make sure it's the cleanest that you can produce with wherever you are at. And so for you guys, if your budget is zero, that's fine. You have a cell phone. Like you can do it with a cell phone.
That's what we're doing now.
So my recommendation would be get the best cell phone that you have. So find somebody in your church. Somebody's got the iPhone 12. You're like, guess what? You're a live stream person. If somebody has like, a Galaxy 2, they should not be your live stream person. So start off there.
Forget it.
So realistically, honestly guys, like I have the iPhone 11. The camera on this is fantastic. It's a really, really good camera. So I would recommend, and I've told this to churches before, go in the opposite direction of what you're thinking. Because a lot of times if you come in with no budget, you're like, I have to get a camera, I have to get a camera, I have to get a camera. You already have a camera. What you need to do is get good lighting and good sound. Because the cameras on these are actually pretty dang good. They're pretty good. And so if I can set this up on a tripod, and I can get a clean feed going into this from a microphone like this one that Andrew showed you, or from my board, or however I can do that, and then I can get some proper lighting, that's a big deal. I don't know if you guys know Pastor Clement from England. One of the things I keep on getting onto him about is his lighting. It's really, really dim. Have you seen some of his live stream videos? And he's a phenomenal preacher. And I want to watch his sermons because I actually enjoy listening to him preach. But I'm like, bro, you got to get some lights. And he keeps on asking me, what camera do I need? I was like, forget the camera. Get lights. I can't see you. You could get the nicest camera in the world, but you know, he's a black man and his stage is black. You know what I mean?
I feel his struggles.
Yeah. And I'm like, Clement, I can't see you. Like, you're not, like, paint your back wall white at least.
I might start wearing this all the time.
Yeah, right. Like, there he is. I see a floating shirt. Yes.
Can you just, as a video guy, can you stress on the importance that when people think video, they always think visual and not audio?
Yes. Audio is so important. So many people, like I said, we think about the camera. I need to get the nicest camera. Can I get a 4K, a 6K? Get good audio. People, statistically, people will put up with bad video better than they will bad audio.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
So you think, like right now for us that we're using the iPhones, if we were to add a microphone like that, it would make a huge difference in our audio?
It might take away some of that echo.
It would be better, but it wouldn't be like perfect.
So this microphone is going to be better than your phone's built-in microphone for sure.
Yeah.
But you're going to get room noise, and this is what happens a lot when we use a microphone that's just stuck into this.
Yeah.
This is going to be better. But if I have this set up, let's say for example I have this set up like right here, and I'm filming him. Now you say amen or you sneeze, and now that's in my live stream.
Yeah.
Somebody's phone rings and that overpowers the speaker. If I have a feed coming in from the mixer, now that's not an issue anymore because I'm just picking up the mic that is on his ear or on his lapel.
So
Yeah.
it's a good fix, but it's temporary.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so,
Paul, go ahead.
Yeah, one thing I haven't tried, but if I was in that situation, one of the things that I would look at is a Bluetooth connection from the board, like you'd use in your car, where you know, just a 1/4 inch or an 1/8 of an inch from the board and the headphone jack, and then connect that as your mic, and that would be a really good option to get a really clean. And it's very, very cheap. $5.
Where are those little wireless road mics?
I also just want
I haven't seen them.
Pastor
So
Daniel
they're probably
touched
in
on
a
this really
case or
quickly.
something.
But if you are not using a tripod for your camera, that is a have to. Like that can't be like I can't overstate the importance of that. If someone's holding your camera, it's one of the first big things.
It's
Well,
gonna
for
be.
California, so it might look like an earthquake.
alright, so,
Yes,
for
sir.
example, you know, you get your Bluetooth, and you're able to talk sometimes from the phone and all that.
Yeah.
Would that, can you preach with it on?
Yeah, you absolutely can.
Because we tried it, and we weren't able to really notice any difference on the sound that was getting into the phone.
Yeah, it's not a professional mic.
Yeah, so this is a good example. Okay, if you can use that, it's going to be better. You might, I mean, at the very least, the audio quality, because the microphone is not like a professional level microphone, so that's not going to change. But we're going to lose the crowd noise at least because it's in your ear. This is another option. These are called Rode wireless mics, and these go for $170. They're wireless microphones. It has a little 1/4 inch thing, and you can plug it into the phone. This is a transmitter and a receiver. It has a microphone built in that's pretty decent, but you can also plug in any 3.5 millimeter lapel mic or anything like that. And so you can walk around with this, and you can have 2 mics. You can have a handheld mic, and then this one that runs here, and then that's going just to your live stream. So you have the receiver here on your phone, and then you've got the transmitter here with your own mic, and you
Is
just
that
have 2
Android
mics.
or Apple?
It's whatever.
It doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
So
This is just
that loves both of us. Yeah.
so it works for both of us. So you would have this, and a receiver with a cord is going into your phone. It's hanging on the tripod, and then you've got this set up like this. This one's over here on you. It has a built-in mic, so you can actually just take this thing, and we've done videos before, and it actually sounds pretty decent.
Yeah.
Where somebody would just, I need more hands. You just clip this in here, and then this microphone is facing up, and it gets pretty decent audio. That goes straight to this because my receiver here, just like you guys' wireless mics that you use in your church, my receiver here is now plugged into my phone, and now I'm able to transmit from here to there.
The crazy thing about this, it does sound really clear. It sounds so clear to the point where we wanted to use it as a wireless mic just for natural talking.
So that overrides the existing microphone.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
So, and there's you guys are talking a lot about doing things from cell phones, so I think that's kind of where a lot of people are at.
Yeah.
If you guys, like Pastor Joe and stuff, if you have more questions about like equipment and stuff, we can get into that. When it comes to cell phones, there are a lot of options. There is a program where you can actually link up different cell phones, and it is called NDI HX camera, and you can link up different cell phones and switch between them on the cell phones. And that becomes now a live stream feed. And so what you can have is you've got, a phone, she's got a phone, somebody else in your church has a phone, you guys download this app, it syncs your phones, and then you have an iPad or another phone that's switching between those feeds. And so now we've got different camera angles, which honestly is not that important because now I need somebody to run it, but it's an option for you guys to get started. But my recommendation for those of you guys with no budget and you're just trying to get started, get the nicest cell phone you have, the nicest one in your church that you know is dependable every single Sunday. Get clean audio, whether that's a cable that's ran all the way from your board into here, whether it's something like this that's clipped on your lapel, and get good lights. So you can get lights like these. I think these two back here, they're probably not bright enough, but these lights, you can pick them up used for like $100-something odd, $120. They don't have to be these. These are LEDs. We have LEDs because they don't produce much heat at all. You can use whatever you want. You can just put floodlights and shine them at your stage. You want to make sure that you're well lit. You have clean audio. So clean, clear picture, clean, clear audio. Those are so, so, so important. It's more important than the equipment. But when you're ready to buy the equipment or wherever you're at, talk to us. Let us know what your budget is. If it's $0, then we'll start there and help you guys build a shopping cart. Some of you guys, it's going to be a little bit more than others. Some of you guys, hey, our budget's $500. Some of you guys, it might be $6,000 or $7,000. Whatever it is, let us know. We will help you build a shopping cart. The most important thing, guys, is don't be intimidated by it. Don't be intimidated. The worst thing you can do in this season right now is to be intimidated by technology and to not put your church out there. Your church needs to be out there because people find it all the time. People used to find our church when our live stream was, in my opinion, pretty garbage. We had a single camera that was just drilled down, had a prime lens on it. Nobody touched it. We didn't switch. The awful audio, and people would say, "Oh, I've been watching you guys online." People will find you guys online, and if you've got a message, I think that needs to get out there, especially this year.
Another thing, no, you're fine. Another thing is with Switcher Studio, I just looked it up because I know most people have Apple devices, and they're a lot better with like camera quality too.
Yeah.
I just looked. They have $39 a month subscription. They have $75 a month. And they also have like a 14-day free trial. So you can just mess around with that too and just see what it does. They also have like videos that you can look at. The only reason I'm pushing for this more than like what we have, because I know how much money is behind the stuff that we have.
Yeah.
So for someone who's just starting out with no money, I'm sure, let's see, $39, how many pizzas would that be in 1 month? You know what I mean? So it's not that much money just to get that going. And
What's the name of that program?
so this one is called Switcher Studio. It's just like what Pastor Daniel was just saying. It's a similar thing. So I would say write down the next one. What was yours?
It was the NDI HX camera.
So write down both of them. Check them both out. Research, watch the bads, never look up the goods of anything because it's probably someone they paid to talk about it. So always find the bad things about stuff and say, all right, can I work with that bad thing? All right, let's do it then. So that's how you have to go into it. Am I out of time?
What time is it?
It's 10:30.
Okay.
All right.
Cool. So just in closing, guys. First of all, I want to thank Andrew for doing this. He was he was really intimidated to do this breakout session, but I'm just so proud of him because I know he said earlier at the beginning of the year he was on the worship team, and I came to him at the beginning of the pandemic and I said, Andrew, I know he has a mind for tech, I said, bro, I need you to stop doing, worship is his passion. Like that's where his anointing is. He feels called to worship. But I was like, bro, I need you to jump in on this. I need you to own it. And he's stepped into it and inhabited it. And he's, all the stuff that we have, he's built this. Elena sitting in the back, Marco, these are teenagers that he's trained and developed. And almost our entire tech team and live stream is ran by teenagers. And that's all a result of Andrew. So if you guys are feeling overwhelmed, like he was too when he started, and we've just spent months learning and figuring it out. And now he's here teaching this, which is also a new thing for him. So I'm just so proud of him. And I just want to encourage you guys too. You have an Andrew in your church. You have an Andrew that doesn't know how to do anything yet, but they will. You just got to find that person and invest into them and develop them, and just don't be intimidated by it. Say, I don't get it. And a lot of you guys, you don't get it. And that's okay. But you need to go there, because that's where church is going, and that's where the audience is now. And that's the new frontier for evangelism. So.
And 2 more things and I'll go.
Yeah.
The first thing, everything that we do tech-wise, it's just to do the vision God has put on our pastors. So I would say just be submissive to whatever your pastor is asking you to do.
They're all the pastors.
Okay, that works too. Be submissive to your pastor. But yeah, what you can pass it on to whoever. Everybody that's here, we really just do what our pastor wants us to do.
Yeah.
So whether he wants us to have the cameras upside down for a live stream, as much as it might sound crazy to me, I don't know what God is putting on his heart, so
right.
That's what we do. The second thing is my number is 239.
Yes.
240-3928, and you could put Andrew Robertson Victory.
Say it again.
So it's 239-240-3928. And YouTube is your best friend. That's all I gotta say.
Have a great day. And just so you guys know, to take any pressure off, we're here for you. We don't just say that lightly. Like, we want to see your church succeed. That's our heart. And so if there's any questions you have at any point, Andrew's available. I am too. Yes.
I do have, maybe you can like watch one of our videos,
Yes.
and then
Yeah.
you can give us the construction.
Oh my gosh.
You almost
Get insurance on your equipment too.
I was